integration, there are two types of integration we have of FI with SD and MM. So SD integration we will be using for billing. So if we want to bill our customer, and integration of FI with MM we will be using for the purchase invoicing. So till now we were trying to post the entries in the system without any reference to the purchase order, without any reference to the sale order. We were creating the sale invoices and purchase invoices for your vendor. Now we need to create the purchase invoice in the system with reference to purchase order. We will be creating that invoice for our vendor. Same way with reference to the sale order, we will be creating the sales invoice in the FI, and for that integration is required. And in the integration, all steps are not required, only integration steps are required, where we are linking the FI with the material or FI with the billing. So first we will be covering the integration of FI with the MM. So we have a small PPT, I'll just walk you through. We have a module called MM. MM stands for material management. It is saying that this component we will be using to process the business transaction related to the procurement and inventory management activities of the material. So here we will be procuring. This module will handle all the types of stock or material or inventory activities. And material, we will be covering all the types of material. We have raw material, finished material, work in progress, packing, store, spares. So these kind of material we have. So it is saying that at a company code level, we will be setting up purchase organization, and this company code will be linking to the plant. So a company code can be linked to more than one plant, and below the plant we can create the warehouses. These warehouses we can create as a storage locations. So we can have more than one storage location for the different types of material. Then it is saying that we have to maintain the master record for each material with reference to the plant, and at the time of creating the material master record, user has to specify the material type. So it is saying that whenever you will be creating the material, this will be maintained at which level? This is maintained at a plant level. So we can have the material for plant A, plant B, plant C, plant D. And when we are creating the material master data, at that point of time, system is going to ask you for the material type. What do you mean by the material type? If you remember, like the way we use the GL account group, vendor account group, customer account group for creating the GL master data, customer master data, and the vendor master data. Same way for creation of the material, we will be creating the material. We will be taking the reference of the material type, and under this material type, what we will be having? So similar type of material we will group together based on the common attribute of the material. So we will club these material which are common. These are called material type, like raw, finish, packing, store, spares. These are the material types. So for each of the material type by the SAP we have been given the standard ID. So the standard ID for the raw material we use ROH. For stores and spare it is ERSA. Then for packing it is ERP. For finished goods it is FERT. So for each of the material type, we will be following the price control to do the valuation in our books. And this price control we have of two types. We have the price control as V, and also we have the price control as S. So what is the V price control? So V is your moving average price. What is the moving average price? We'll cover in the next slide. And S is for the standard price. Standard means fixed, and moving average price or variable price which will get changed. So in which case you will be using the standard price. So for the semi finish or finish we can use the standard price. It is talking about here the price control. Price control determines how the consumption and inventory values are to be determined for the financial accounting purpose. So how we need to maintain the material valuation in our book. So for that we need to follow the price control. So as I just shared with you, we have VNS. So moving average price represents the prices of all the lot in the stock of a material. So it is considered as a most effective price. So how it is calculated? It is in a simple language. It is a average out price. So how we do the average out? So you can just see here we have different units. So in this month, we have procured the material on different dates. We have ordered this material. So on first, we ordered 100 quantity at the rate of 10. It cost us 1000. Then after that, we ordered again on 10th. It is 150 units. And at that point of time, the rate got increased. It is now 11 per unit. So it cost us 1650. Then again, we ordered on 15th and we procured the material at the rate of 12 per unit. So it cost us 200 units, cost us 2400. Now, whatever the sum we have, and that will be divided by the number of units total we have procured for this material, and that will become our moving average price. So here, moving average price is equal to sum divided by the total quantity, and that particular price, moving average price, we will multiply with the stock we have issued to the consumption, or we have issued to the production department. So production department who is going to consume that particular stock which we have procured from the vendor, and at what price we have sent that material to our production department, so that we can come to know with the help of multiplying the number of units and with this moving average price. Here in this integration of MM with, or integration of FI with MM, so we need to understand the integration points. We need to also understand the steps. So here it starts with the material requisition, purchase requisition, but it from the interview standpoint, it starts with the purchase order. So first of all, we will be creating the purchase order, and prior to that, these are the procurement activities to be looked after by the procurement department, by the purchase department, by the MM consultant. It is saying that first we'll have the material acquisition. It is a internal document sent by the production department to store department or store manager, that we need this much quantity of goods, and he will check in the store if that number of quantities are available. Otherwise, store department will inform the purchase department. Purchase department will call the quotations and from the different vendor, and they will analyze, and finally they will place a purchase order. So this purchase order is a legal document. It will have the material number, material detail, quantity, price, date of delivery, quality parameters. So all this information we will be getting in the purchase order, but it is not your financial document, it is not your accounting document. So after that we have the good receipt. So good receipt will it will trigger your accounting entry. And what is the accounting entry? Inventory of raw material account debit to the GRIR clearing account. What do you mean by this GRIR clearing account? GR means good receipt and IR means invoice receipt. So we'll be having here good receipt invoice, good receipt and invoice receipt clearing account. And because at this point of time, at the time of good receipt, we will not be giving the credit to the vendor. That is the reason here we will be using a offset account, and the name of this offset account is good receipt and invoice receipt, because there are two different actions we have. So first we receive the goods and then we invoice the goods. So between that, if due to some inspection, due to some quality check, if the material is not meeting the expectation or the standard, so we can return it back to the vendor. So here it is saying that after the good receipt, we will send to the accounts department so that they can put it into the books, into the financial books. So for that, we do the invoicing, and at the time of invoicing, we'll again have a accounting entry in the system. It is GRER clearing account debit to your vendor account. So here at this point of time, we are going to create a subledger entry, and this subledger entry is going to update your subledger balance also. So the vendor balance will be changed, vendor line item will be created, and this GRIR clearing account which you have created, so the same will be reversed by the system. It will be debited. So there should be at the month end, so there should be a zero balance for the GRIR clearing account. If it is not zero balance, then it means you have received some goods and the corresponding invoicing has not been done. And if you have the IR balance, then, or it is like if it is a credit balance, it means your you receive the goods but invoicing has not been done. But if it is having the debit balance, then it means you have invoiced the goods, but the good receipt has not happened. So at the month end, we need to make sure for this GRI clearing account the balance should be zero. Then after this, we will send these goods to the consumption department or production department. At that point of time, we'll have the consumption accounting entry where we will debit the raw material consumption account and credit the inventory. So we'll be reducing the inventory, increasing the consumption. So it is saying that how this accounting entry, the GR, IR, and this material consumption, so how these entries will be posted by system automatically. So for that, we'll be using two things. We'll be using the movement type and transaction event key. Movement type and transaction event key. So whenever you will be using the transaction code in the so for example, here we have a transaction code in the MB1A, or we also use MIGO, that is a single transaction code through which we can do material transfer or material receipt, any kind of material activity we want to do. So that transaction code we can use. So this is a little old transaction code MB1A. So we have now single transaction code MIGO through which we can do all the material activity: issue, receipt, then consumption, transfer, stock transfer. So all these activities can be done with the single transaction code MIGO. So here the point is, when you will be using the transaction code and you will be selecting your action that you are doing the stock transfer, receiving, or you are canceling any good receipt. So at that point of time, what will happen? System will trigger you. System will automatically gives you the relevant movement type. So in this case, the movement type is going to be 201, and in this movement type it will trigger your transaction event key. So this GBB slash VBR, BSX, so these are what? These are the transaction event keys. So under these transaction event keys, you are going to link your GL. So if you will be using any GL under GBB, it is going to debit. If you will be linking the GL under the BSX, it is going to credit. So it is saying that in this, because we have under this movement type 201, it is saying that the consumption will be increased and inventory will be decreased. So accordingly, we can assign the relevant GL so that that same GL can be debited for the consumption and credited for the inventory of raw material. So it is saying that these movement types are what? These movement types determine your GL to be updated for the material business transaction in the component. Following are some of the common or transaction code which we use in the for the material handling. So 101 we have for the good receipt. If you want to do the reversal of good receipt you made, then we can use the movement type 102. And if you are issuing the material, so that issue of material is hitting your cost center. If there is the issue of material which is hitting any internal order, so for that we have the movement type 261, and the reversal of this will be done through the 262. Then it is saying that, as I just shared with you, movement types are linked to your transaction code in the SAP software. When you will be running the relevant transaction code, so for example, MIGO is a transaction code. So accordingly, we select the action, and system will automatically suggest the movement type. And this movement type will further trigger your transaction event key with which you will be linking your GL, and accordingly the accounting entry will be posted with those GLs. Then it is saying that transaction event keys are what? So these are the nature of the business transaction that occur in the material management, and transaction event keys are system defined. We can't create our own transaction event keys. So these BSX, GBB, VBR, PRD. So these kind of transaction event key you are going to see in the system. These are the SAP standard transaction event keys. So we can't create our own custom transaction event keys. So with this, you are going to link the GL. So you can just see these are the some of the important transaction event keys we have: BSX, WRX, GBB, and under the GBB we can do the consumption, scrapping, production receipt against purchase order, without purchase order, against production order, without production order. These kind of activities we can do. Then it is saying that these transaction event keys are linked to your movement type, as I just shared with you, and accordingly it will debit or credit your GL, because this GL assignment you will be doing under the transaction event keys. So here you can just see some indicator. It is showing you that movement type we have selected 101, and accordingly it will trigger BSX, and it will also trigger WRX. So it will debit the inventory, credit the GRIR clearing account. And if we do the reversal, then GRIR clearing account will be debited and inventory will be credited, inventory will be reduced. Then here it is saying that this is the example 201 we have for the production. So in this case, product consumption account will be debited and inventory will be reduced. Then it is saying that in the material master record, we have multiple tabs. One of the tab is important for the accounting, and that is the accounting tab. In that we have the one of the fields called valuation class. So what this valuation class will do? So this valuation class we are going to link with the GL. So we'll not be linking the GL directly to the material. So for that we'll be using the valuation class. And this valuation class we will be defining where we will be maintaining this valuation class in the material master only. So that is how your material will be linked to the GL. So if this valuation class we have not maintained the relevant valuation class, then obviously system will not be able to drive the relevant GL. It will give you the error while doing the purchase activity or while doing any material activity. It is saying that with what kind of material types we have. So here we have the raw material, stores, spares, finished goods, and for this we use a standard valuation class ID, and this is we can just see all numeric four character numeric code we use. So for the raw material we use 3000, for finished goods we use 7920. So most important are these two, like raw material, finished goods. Now we'll see in the system how this integration will happen, and for that we need to follow the steps. In order to do the integration, actually these are the steps we have for the MM, but from the FI standpoint, only last 4 5 steps are important, and these are total 24 to 26 steps. So in order to go to the 24 to 26 steps, so these are the basic steps to be maintained from the MM side. So we don't have any MM consultant who would have created these steps for us, so that is the reason we need to create these steps on our own. So for that, what kind of information, how we'll be maintaining this information? You would have observed that in the FI also, we have been given the standard data by the SAP. Same way, for this module also, purchase this material management. So the standard data has been provided by the SAP. We'll be using that standard data for our company code. We'll be setting up the storage location, purchase organization. But in the real time, you don't need to create these objects. So these objects would be taken care of by the MM consultant. So if any accounting entry is not getting placed, so in that case we can come into the picture and we can fix the issue. But all these steps are to be done by the MM consultant. So because MM consultant we don't have here and we want to experience that integration, so that is the reason we are doing this step. And again, for doing this step, we will be using the SAP standard MM data. Now it is saying that you need to create the material. You need to first step is to define the plant or create the plant. We need to use transaction code. We can also use the path. So let's use the transaction code. So let's run this transaction code OX10 and then enter. Press enter button. And also for defining this material object, we'll be giving the basic information. We can click on the new entry button. You can also observe here we have been given this 0001, 0005, 7, 8, 9. So all are the standard one. Okay. You can take the reference of the standard one. You can create your own. For example, this is a standard one. Now, if you need to create your own plant ID, click on the new entry button. Give the plant ID which we can maintain up to the 4 character, that is the length provided by the SAP. So let's have here the ID same as the company code ID. It is 2244. And this is what? This is the plant we have for the 2244 company code. Then the short name you can give it as plant 2244. And after that you need to provide here the factory calendar. Factory calendar, press F4 key. And we will be using here the standard factory calendar ID, which is German standard 01. And then you can click on this address button. Click on the address button. Then you can go down. Here there is the only country field which is mandatory. So you can give the country code ID as US for this plant and then click on the enter button and then click on the save option. Again press enter button. It is showing you the time zone if you want to change it, otherwise keep it as same or keep it as it is and then press enter button. Then after creating the plant ID, what next we have? It is saying that we need to create the storage location under that plant, and in order to create the storage location we can use the transaction code. It is OX09. So let's use this transaction code, go into the system and create the storage location. When you will run this transaction code OX09, system is going to ask you for the plant ID, under which plant ID you want to create the storage location. So we can mention that we want to create the storage location under the plant ID 2244 and then press enter button. This storage location is also called as SLOC. We create the SLOC. You can just see SLOC is coming. Click on the new entry button and create the storage location or SLOC ID. And again, the length of this SLOC ID we can maintain up to the 4 character, could be alphanumeric. Let it be 2244. And this is what? This is the storage location we have. It has a space constraint in the description, so we can maintain a storage location 2244. Then enter, save, and again press enter button. One more thing we need to do. So this got saved. Now once you have given your storage location ID and description, after that you select it and then go on the left side. On your left side you have this option called address of storage location. Double click on this and click on the new entry button. So address ID we can give it as 01. Under the 01, system is going to ask you full detail, but here you need to only mention the country code ID because it is a mandatory field. After that press enter button. Press enter button, save it, and then we can come out of here. So our storage location is done. Now what next we need to do? It is saying that now you need to maintain your purchase organization. And in order to create this purchase organization, we need to use the transaction code OX08. All the purchase related activities you are going to manage, maintain under the purchase organization only. And for this purchase organization creation, OX08, press enter button and then click on the new entry button. Here we need to give the ID for the purchase organization. Once again, it can be maintained up to the 4 character. The length is up to the 4 character, could be alphanumeric. Let it be 2244. And this is what? This is the purchase organization for 2244. Press enter button, save it, and again press enter button. We can go back, and we can go to the next step. Step number 4, we have assignment. We need to do the assignment of what? Assignment of your plant to the store to the company code. And for this assignment of plant to the company code, we can use transaction code OX18. So let's use the transaction code OX18. Enter and then click on the new entry button. Company code ID we have, it is 2244. Then you can assign, then you can mention here your plant ID, which is again 2244, and then press enter button, save it, and again press enter button. So assignment of plant to the company code has been done. Then the next assignment we have, it is purchase organization to the company code, and for this we can use transaction code OX01. So let's use transaction code OX01. Enter. And here we have been given a list of a purchase organization. Click on position, find out for the purchase organization ID 2244, and we can just see here the company code ID is blank. Let it be 2244. Press enter button and then save. Click on the save option. Then after the step number 5, we have again in another assignment, and in this step number 6 we need to assign the purchase organization to the plant ID, and this can be done with the help of transaction code OX17. Transaction code ID is OX17. Enter, and once again click on the new entry button. Purchase organization ID we are using 2244. Plant ID we are using again 2244. Press enter button, save it, and then we can come out of here. Then after step number 6, we have step number 7, where the plant which we have graded, under this plant we don't have any information, so we need to maintain that information, and to maintain this information we will be maintaining the plant parameter. And how we are going to create the plant parameter, we will be taking the reference from the 0001 plant, under which SAP has already created the plant parameter information, so we can copy it, we can extend to our we can extend that plant parameters to our plant ID, which is 2244. And for this we can use transaction code OMI8. Let's use the transaction code OMI8 and then enter. And here we can follow the last step. You can just see last option we have been given, copy, click on this, and here we can give the reference of the standard plant ID, press F4 key, it is 0001. So you can just see 0001 we have been given. Let's take the 0001 for the reference, and after that we have our plant ID 2244. Click on the copy button and again press enter button. So you can just see it is saying that the plant parameter from 0001 were copied to the plant ID 2244. So those that information we have extended, which we have maintained in the 0001, so that we have extended to our company, to our plant ID 2244. Then it is saying that what next we have. So the way we do the opening closing of period in the FI, same way we do the opening closing of period in the MM. The only difference is in the FI we can open as many as 12 normal period, 4 special period. But in the MM, maximum how many periods we can open? We can open only 2 periods. We can't open more than 2 periods in the MM. And when you are going to set up it for the first time, then you need to use the step number 8. And after that, this is not required. Every time you need to use this MMPV step. This MMPV step we have for changing the period, for closing or opening the period, and through another transaction code MMRV, you can just check which period is open. So for example here, because we are doing this step for the first time, so we need to use first OMSY. We are going to set up our year and then month. And how it is to be done, for that we can use transaction code OMSY here in the system, enter, and then click on the position button, find out the company code 2244, and we need to mention the year because we are following the calendar year. We can mention here the calendar year as for this financial year 2023. We are using the calendar year, and this calendar year starts from January to December. So since we are in the month of July, so we can give here the start period as July. But if you want to do any posting for June, in that case we need to mention here the period as 6 June. So after the June, if you want to open July, so that can be done. Along with the 6, you want to open 7, so that can be done. But if along with 6 you want to open 7, 8, 9, so that is not possible. You can open maximum 2 periods. It could be 7, 8, or it could be 6, 7, it could be 5, 6. So this is the current most. Actually, in the most of the cases, in the real time, we normally open current period, and also from the first week of every new month, so we try to open both the periods. So we open previous period, current period. But for 1 week or 2 week, if you need to carry out any month end activities which are pending, which we have not done, so that we can do it next or the current period. So here I am going to take the period as 6. I want to open June, and after that I will also show you how to open the July period, how to open the 7th period, which is July, because we are using here the calendar year. So press enter button and then save it. It will give you a warning message. Just press enter button to ignore it and then save. Now we can go back and we will use the next transaction code. So it is saying that we have the MMPV through which we can just change the period in the MM. And before this MMPV, I'll also show you MMRV, through which we can find out which period is open. So let's run transaction code MMRV. So for which company code we want to see the information in the which period is open or not. So for the company code 2244, we want to find out this information. So you can just see it is saying that which periods are open. So two periods are open, May and June. Okay, so now we are in the month of July. So what we want? We want June and July should be open. And for this, what you need to do? You need to run here transaction code MMPV. MMPV. In the real time, this activity is done. This is activity will be carried out by the consultant. So we have here the 2244 company code, and for the changing of period in the FI, we have the transaction code OB52. So that is to be done by the FI consultant. So now here it is saying that which period you want to get open. So here we want to get the open seventh period, that is a July month. In which year? In the year 2023. If you don't want to mention the period and fiscal year combination, then in that case you can also mention the date. So based on the date, system is going to open and close your period. Okay. So here we are not going to give the date reference. We will be giving the reference of the month, year which we want to get open. So you can just click on the execute button, and then you can just go back. So you have seen that in the FI, if any period is closed, we can open it. But here, if any period is closed in the we can't reopen it. So that is the reason we need to be very cautious when we are closing any period in the Now once again, we can check the current period with the help of transaction code MMRV for this company code 2244. Now you can just see it is showing you the periods open 6 and 7. Now we can make the posting in June and July both. Then it is saying that what next we need to do. So we need to maintain a valuation group code, and that is required for the material activity. So let's create this valuation group code, and for this we will be taking the reference of the standard valuation group code defined by the SAP. So run this transaction code OMWD, enter. Transaction code is OMWD, enter. Click on the position button. Valuation area is 2244. Valuation area means your plant ID. Plant ID is equal to your valuation area. So here we have 2244 plant ID, and with this we have the company code 2244. Chart of account we have again same 2244 ID, and here we can give the standard valuation group code ID as 0001. Then press enter button and then save. Click on the save option. Now what next we have? It is saying that under the step number 10, we need to now maintain the tolerance group for the purchase order activity, GR activity. So we will be creating the purchase order, we'll be doing the GRIR. So for these activities, we should have the authorization. To maintain this authorization, we'll be maintaining the tolerance group. So which tolerance group ID we should use so that we can do this activity. In case of your purchase order, we can use the PENSC tolerance group ID, and from where we are taking the reference of, we are taking the reference from the 0001 company code. It is saying that for this we can follow the path, and this path we need to go to the SPRO purchasing purchase order. So here we can go to the SPRO, then enter, click on the reference IMG, and then we need to go to the material management option. So go to the material management. Then we need to go to the purchasing, and then we can go to the purchase order. Open the purchase order. Here we need to go to the option called set the tolerance limit for the price variance. Set the tolerance limit for the price variance. Click on this. Now you can just see here we have been given the standard company code ID 0001-567, and for that, for each of these company code we have been given the tolerance keys. Okay, so we are going to take the reference of these tolerance keys PE and SE in the company code 0001, and we can extend them to our company code ID 2244 so that we can do the purchase order activity in our company code. So we can we can first select these PE and SE tolerance keys. Click on the copy as button, and here we can go to the company code, replace the company code to which you want to extend it. So we want to extend it to the 2244. Press enter button, and for the another tolerance key SE, you will do again, give the reference of company code 2244 and then enter. So we got the tolerance keys copied from the 0001 company code to our company code 2244. What next we need to do? It is saying that now for the good receipt also we need the tolerance group. This time we will be using the tolerance group. Three tolerance group we are going to use: B1, B2 and BP. So these are required to do the GR activity in our company code. So for this you need to come out of this purchase order and go to this option called inventory management and physical inventory. Inventory management and physical inventory. Click on this. Open this inventory management and physical inventory. After that, you can just see you have the option good receipt. Click on this good receipt, and after that we need to go to the option called set tolerance limit. Set tolerance limit, first option, select this, and here we don't have 0001 company code, so we can take the reference from 1000 company code. And again, this 1000 company code is the standard company code provided by the SAP. So we can use these three tolerance keys B1, B2, BP for under the company code 1000, and we are going to extend it to our company code ID, which is 2244. So first is the B1, second is the B2, 2244 is the company code, and the third one is BP again for the company code 2244. Press enter button, save it again, press enter button, and then we can come out of here. Then it is saying that after the GR we need to do the IR, and for this IR we can actually, here we have been given the transaction code also, so we can follow them. Let's use transaction code OMRX and then enter. So in this case, what we need to do again, we need to copy the tolerance group. So this time we need to use this 450 and 515, and from where we are going to copy it from the company code 1000. 1000, select both of these two tolerance group for under the company code 1000. Click on the copy as option, and here we can give the company code ID, our company code ID 2244. Again press enter button for tolerance group 515. Company code ID is 2244 and then save. So this is how we have extended the tolerance group 450 and 515 to our company code ID 2244. We have completed here step number 12, vendor specific tolerance group. Then after that we have step number 13, parameter for the invoice verification. And here we can do this step with the help of transaction code OMRV. So let's use the transaction code OMRV. And once again we can take the reference from the company code 0001. Click on the copy as option, select first company code ID 0001, then click on the copy as option, then replace company code ID with 2244, then enter, save. Again press enter button. Then it is saying that step number 14, we need to maintain the default text code. So for those material which don't require any kind of text calculation, so on that zero text is applicable. So in order to get that zero text applicable, we need to default it. And how we can make this text code default zero text code? For that we can use the transaction code OMR2. Let's use the transaction code OMR2. In this case, if we define it, then system is going to default that particular text code when we will be doing the invoicing. At the time of invoicing, so whatever the text code you will mention here, that will become default. So for those kind of invoices which we don't want to get the text calculated, for that we can use the text code as V0. V0 is for the 0% text code. Again, it is a V0 is a standard text code provided by the SAP. Press enter button. So it is saying that this we don't have in the system, so how to maintain it? For that, first you just make sure you go to this path called SPROIMG, And under the financial accounting, we have the global setting. Go to the global setting. Under the global setting, we have the purchase sale tax. So you can just see tax on the sale purchase, and then go to the basic setting. Open this basic setting, and then you can go to this option called check calculation procedure. Check calculation procedure, and then we can select this third option, define procedure. Double click on this. We need to maintain here the tax pricing procedure. We need to maintain here the pricing procedure. In the real time, who will do it? So this it will be looked after by the consultant only. So here we can click on the new entry button, and how these are defined. So let's give the ID. So let's have here the ID as it is 2244 PP means pricing procedure, and then we have the description as pricing procedure, or let's say tax calculation for 2244. Press enter button and then save. Now select this pricing procedure, go to the control data and click on the new entry button. Here we are going to give the reference of the base price, and then on that base price what would be the tax and input tax, output tax. Input we use for the purchase, output we use for the sale. So we can mention here the step as 01, 02 and 03, and in the first step we need to mention here the condition type as standard. For the base amount we'll be using here the condition type as BASP. So search for the BASP base amount. So then this is what base amount. Then we have the input text and output text. So for that we can press F4 key. Here we have MWBS and MWAS. Actually for these steps you can just bottom go at the bottom. Here you can just see for this pricing procedure we have these four steps. You can use these four steps under the prerequisites. So here we have first to define the tax calculation procedure for the country code ID for which you are working. So here we will be using for the US. Then you need to maintain these condition type, and you need to give the account key. So here we have MWVS. We can just mention here, copy MWVS input text. Okay, same is coming, and this is for what? This is for the input text. Then for the output, we can have here MWAS output text. The reference we can give it we can give the reference of step 1, that is the base price. So this input output text calculation will be made based on the base amount, and then you go on the right side, you have here the count key, and through the count key system is going to determine your GL and put the tax amount. If it applies, then the tax amount will be posted to that particular GL. So here for this input text we can use the account key ID as VST, and for the other we have again these are standard. Press F4 key, it will show you a list of account key and you can select the relevant one. So in this input we can use VST in text, and for the other one we can use MWS. Let me just cross check it. Press F4 key, click on position, MWS output text. Now press enter button, save, and then this text calculation procedure you need to assign to the country. So for that you can go back and you can go to the next step. So just close it. So you can just see you have the option called assign the country to the text calculation procedure. Click on this. And here we are working for the country US. So here we can maintain the text calculation procedure for the country US. Press enter button, and you can just see already a text calculation procedure assigned. It is 1122. So let it be 2244 PP. This is the pricing procedure we have maintained, and save. Then what next we have? It is saying that now you need to define the text code. So here for the sale purchase, we can define the text code. Even if actually there are 0% tax code applicable on that purchase sale, but we need to maintain those 0% tax code. So we will not have any kind of purchase sale without any tax code. So even if it is zero, we need to maintain the 0% tax code. So go to the FTXP system is going to ask you for the country ID. We can mention here the country ID is US, and then enter. If you are working for the company code Canada, then you will be using here CA. If you are working for India, then you can mention here I. So here, since our company code is based out of US, so here we are using the text country key as US, and text code is going to be A0 and V0. So first we'll select V0, enter, and this is what, because we will be using here the 0% text code. So give the description here 0% input text, and here we have been given two types, V and A. V we can use for the input, A we use for output. So first select V for the input, and whatever the text percentage you want to have. So since we have here the 0%, system just showing you 0. If you want to have 1 2 3 4 5 6, so accordingly you can mention here the percentage and then save it. So accordingly that particular percentage of text will be calculated on your invoice amount. So we can just save it. Same way we can do it for the V0 text code. It is for the A0 text code for the output text. So this is what, this is 0% output text, and here we'll have the text code, text type as A, enter, save. Again it is 0. Now what next we need to do? It is saying that even if your text amount is 0, so you need to have a GL. That is the setting we need to set up in the system, and for this GL we can assign this text code ID. It is V0. So how it is to be done? First let's have here any GL. I'm taking the GL as, let's create the new one, FS00. Create any normal GL. Let's say on the liability side, our obligation to pay the tax. So here we can have the GL. It is 100. Company code 2244. Click on the new entry button, and under the liability type, balance sheet, give the name as tax payable, account. That control data tab. Select only balance local currency line item display sort key 001, and bank interest tab G001, save. Now the same GL I want to assign for the tax calculation even if it is 0. For this we need to use a next step, next transaction code we can use under step number 5, OB40, and we can default this GL for the tax calculation. So OB40 is the transaction code. Under that we have been given a list of transaction ID. You can just see these are transaction ID, transaction event key. So you need to search for the VST. So go for the VST. These are alphabetically maintained. So let's search for the VST. You can just see it is forward. In the description it is saying it is for the input text. So the chart of account we can confirm here 2244. Press enter button, and text code we can use. It is just select the text code. Click on the save option. So which text code we will be using for the purchase? V0. If we want to default it, and we can link here this GL we created and then save. Click on the save option. Now I will go back to the step number 14 above, and we can complete the step number 14. So OMR2 is the transaction code. Let's use transaction code OMR2. and once again copy from the company code 0001. Select this 0001 company code, click on the copy as option, company code ID, then text code ID we will be using this time V0, and then save. Click on the save option. Under the step number 15, it is saying that we need to maintain the plant parameter for the inventory management and physical inventory. So the path is given, transaction code has not been given. Let's follow the path. Go to the SPRO IMG, and then we can go to the material management. Under this we have the inventory management and physical inventory. So go to this option, open it, and then we can click on this plant parameter. You can just see it is coming as plant parameter. Click on this. Once again, you can copy the data from 0001 company code, from 0001 plant ID. Here we have the plants. We'll take the reference from plant ID 0001. Select it. Click on copy as option. Here we can replace the plant ID with 2244, which is our plant ID. So whatever the data we have for 0001 plant ID, so now we have maintained that same data for our plant ID, which is 2244. Then it is saying that we need to define the material type. Step number 16. This we'll be doing in our next lecture.